everybody, I'm Drew, I'm that frog guy, and welcome to the Reptile Room video for June. So let's get started. So let's start the tour from the outside. Welcome to the door of the menagerie. Well, reptile room. Doesn't look very good yet, but someday it'll look good. So let's go through. And here we go. First thing you see is a brightly lit tank, which someday will be a huge tank across that way. And then we'll swing around so you can see how it looks. It's much bigger, way more room, a little echoey. But let's get started with this tour. First off, we'll start with the 30-gallon, the newest, one of the newest tanks to grace this room. It is where everybody went in from that 10-gallon tank upstairs. So all the Danios, the shrimp, the beta who's hiding back there. Morpheus, come on out, Morpheus. What are you doing? What are you doing? He's being a beta, like a cat. There's also a pleco in here, hanging up underneath that rock. Little focus. Big old bristle nose. It's kind of why they all moved into this tank. It is a planted tank. I have some plants that have been knocked up, but hopefully this will all grow in. We got hair grass, we got Nubius, some other stuff I forgot what it's called, and then some Val, and then some other stuff. There's a lot of plants in here. But we won't spend too much time on. There's a lot of other places. What are you doing over there? We'll keep moving around, but this is a 30-gallon planted tank with a stand, and right next to it is the two saltwater tanks. They are both needing a big water change and cleaning. But this is the shrimp tank, as you can see, is covered in algae, like it always is. But look at the pretty good top view if I don't get glare. But it's filled to the brim with saltwater ghost shrimp. Focus. Next time I'll clean the glass for you guys. I didn't think about this tank. Clean this one, which just houses Bandit, who is a four-line damsel, four-striped damsel. We got a Duncan there. We got an anemone crab hanging out right next to the flower anemone. We got some other corals that are moderately doing okay. There is a mushroom coral there. This guy just closed up because something went on it, and there's some hair algae. There's the culprit right there, Mr. Krabs. Got some blue sympodium that came back. That thing's getting overgrown. I need to clean it again. Maybe move it around. But it's a pretty nice tank, pretty tiny. You guys have seen it. It's really algaeing out. This thing has always had trouble. And I'd always done a ton of water changes to it. That's a whole cleared out spot I didn't see. I don't know what to do there, guys, but we'll circle back to that eventually. Because this isn't my main tank and probably never will be. But we'll scoot over to the next rack, which houses four tanks. One has nothing in it yet. This is going to be for where the what are they called? The toads. The Fire-Bellied Toads will eventually move into this tank, which has grass and rock as a substrate, and then a mossy log to climb up on. And then we have here, as you guys seen in other videos, hopefully, we have a couple mystery tads hiding in here, and one mystery salamander there. We don't know what he is yet. They're hanging out in here with food. Apparently they're eating it like crazy because they're growing. Then we got the shrimp tank, what has overgrown and has hundreds and hundreds of babies again. So this tank here will be getting upgraded to a 10-gallon. This tank there eventually. And then Morpheus over in this tank, the beta that's kind of hanging out back in the back there, will eventually move next to Floki, the other beta, which he's being camera shy, which is kind of weird. He always comes out. He was just out a second ago. But we'll have Floki in that tank, and we'll have Morpheus in this tank on this rack. And then down below we'll have shrimp tank number 1, and then shrimp tank number 2, which also has the two, you probably were wondering where they went, mollies here, the two big females. They're so fat. No male though, so I can't get babies. There's also ghost shrimp in here somewhere. Somewhere. Oh, there's one. I think. Or is that a shed? That's some roots. I don't know where they're at. They're hiding in here somewhere. But we won't spend too much time with them. This is more of a feeder tank anyways, sadly. Though I'm kind of getting attached to those two guys back there. They don't have names yet, and then we have my bug rack. This has all of the isopods in the bottom, roaches in the middle, super worms there, fruit fly cultures, some other stuff, some moss, some other stuff, and then some supplies and food. Lots of different foods. Nothing, and then springtails in this area. We'll move along to the wall where I do want a large tank someday, and also my space heater because it's a basement. This tank here will probably be turned into for a caiman lizard and be placed along that wall maybe someday. But a large, huge tank, I want a big old arowana swimming in. Is the first thing you see as you walk into this room. Also, there's 3-4 windows in here. I should probably cover that one up because I'm wondering if that might be my algae issue. Kind of would make sense. But we won't spend too much time on that. There's nothing in here yet, but this is a 55 hex front tank, and eventually we'll house a caiman lizard or maybe something else. I don't know. It's just kind of in here. The light's on it so you guys can see what it'd look like if I had something in that spot. Dehumidifier, doesn't matter too much. Then we come to the start of the frogs, which here we have one of the newest frogs, our Pixie Frog. He doesn't have a name quite yet. Still deciding if I want to honor the other Gitrog because he was so cute but so little, or should I name him Mr. Pickles, maybe Rick. It's hard to decide, but he's in a 10-gallon planted polydarium, which the water level is getting pretty low, so I'll have to add a little more. The tank is doing well. I actually don't see him ever leave the water, even though it's not that steep. He could get out if he wanted. He just kind of hangs out, likes his stuff. But we'll jump up to Ziggy's tank, who is sitting in a really weird spot. He's partially asleep right now. But we'll move over to this other side. What are you doing there, Ziggs? Is it getting too wet? I don't know. He normally doesn't sit like that, so that's kind of weird. We'll poke him in the butt. Poke. He's not happy with me. Not happy at all. Where is he? He's blending in. You see he's starting to wake up. He was just sleeping. They're nocturnal predators, so he doesn't really want to wake up during the day, and he just kind of hangs out. It's a little warm down here in this room right now because it is summer. It's very humid outside. But he's in a 20-gallon planted vivarium. It used to be really, really planted, but since he dug up it all, there's only a little bit on the background and whatever's growing on the top. We'll jump over. Oh yeah, Ziggy is a Pac-Man frog, for those who don't know. He's a little over a year and some months. He's a little hefty looking, so I might have to give him a bath or something. Maybe he's drying out or something, but we'll jump over to Dart Frog tank number 1. This is where we house Thaddeus, the first dart frog I've ever owned. And he's just kind of chilling there. He's mad at me because I didn't feed him this morning, but now that I'm here, he's expecting me to feed him. Thaddeus is a Dendrobanes Tinctoris powdered blue. He's a very sociable frog. He'll actually hang out in the corner, or she will hang out in the corner, wait for me to feed her. Oh, as she thinks I'm gonna do now. Does not care about humans whatsoever, unlike these guys, which I can almost never get on camera because, see one back there, they never ever stay put. Okay, let's see if I can get the door open without scaring them. They are Mulder and Scully. They are Rantiomea intermedius. Imitator, I guess, intermedius. I believe I have a male and a female. The female is much larger than the male, but they are a type of thumbnail dart frog, and they don't really like people that much. Molder's not as scared as Scully is, but they don't really come out much. They've come out a lot more since I moved them to the basement here. As you can see, I need to clean the glass. Probably should do that before videoing, but you know, guys, you guys get to see the unfiltered treatment. You don't get to see me specializing anything. But we'll jump up to the next row where I have some of the tadpoles, which these guys really need a water change. I just did it like 2 days ago or less. Yesterday? I think I did a water change yesterday. Mystery tadpoles are growing like crazy. They also, in growing, they poop a lot, so it dirties the water pretty quick. All the air bubbles are from them breathing through the surface with their gill or their lungs. They must be developing them, and they're going wild because I'm standing here. I believe they're all wood frogs, type of local species. We'll jump over to Casey's tank. He is a African spiny-tailed lizard, East African spiny-tailed lizard, or she, and he or she usually hides right in that log and loves to sneak out and grab roaches. But right now she or he is hiding like most of my creatures. Does not like camera. But we'll work our way back down to the whatchamacallums. Why do I always forget what they're called? These guys are Fire-Bellied Toads, and there's plenty of them hiding in this little container. These guys get the water change at the same time, and they're almost the same size, but they don't dirty the water as bad. And then in here, we have 2 more mystery salamanders. For you guys who have been keeping up with the channel, the one is not floating anymore like he was. He's doing good now, but obviously they are hiding on me. Maybe I can partially startle them out. I don't want to scare them too much. But there's one there. Get the focus on him. I don't know what species of salamander this is. I am hoping it's a mud puppy. Look at those colorations already on this little guy. There's one right there. They generally say don't keep too many together. I only have 2. Oh, come on, get that face. Look at that cute little face. Focus. They're just so cute. Got an interesting color pattern. I wonder what they'll end up morphing into. So the third other one I have over there is the same species, just quite a bit smaller. I don't want to put him in here yet because I don't want him to get eaten. But yeah, those are my 2 mystery salamanders. Hoping that they are mud puppies, but I guess any kind of salamander would be kind of cool because I don't really have any salamanders. And weird thing, salamander babies aren't called tadpoles, they're called larvae. Thanks for pointing that out in the comments. I forgot about that. It's really weird. We should come up with a cool name. Hashtag rename salamander babies. I don't actually do hashtags enough to know if I'm saying that right. Sorry, I'm an old person. But they're actually pretty fascinating to watch, as they have their front legs now, and they have some interesting colors coming on. They just kind of hang out. We'll jump over to the other 2 dart frogs that we got, still in the grow-out container. I might move them sooner than later, because they seem to be kind of bored in the small container. They are both leucomellas, I believe the bumblebee leucomella variety. Correct me if I am wrong. They look to be a couple months old, maybe. They are still pretty tiny. I thought leucomellas get a little bigger than this. But we won't spend too much time on these beautiful little yellow frogs. They don't really care at all about me, which is really cool. Whoop. Looks like Tortellini's light just turned off. Down here is just a grow-out container for the first tads that come out. These guys, since they're partially aquatic anyways, might just move to the vivarium over there. Actually, that tank will go on this rack eventually. This rack will get moved down, and maybe another like a 15-gallon or 20-gallon long, something low and thin. Maybe we'll house the salamanders in on the bottom. But we'll jump over to the Hex Tank now that it's down here. I've planted actually a couple more orchids in here and moved the air plant that wasn't doing very great into the back more. The orchids are doing great, which is good. I also have these couple crazy looking ferns growing in here that I got from a local plant store, I guess what are they called. I'm always on a spot and I can never remember what things are called. Down there's another one, but it's growing out really nice. That tree there, really growing a lot more leaves. That thing's gonna be big and I'm trimming it. The Leucomelas might make it in this tank, though they're not much of a climber. Ooh, hey Thaddeus. I was thinking maybe Thaddeus would get an upgrade. Thaddeus might get an upgrade, but he is just a puppy dog. That is the puppy-doggiest frog. Just waiting for me to feed him. Just waiting. Or, I guess, could be territorial against these other two frogs, which they don't seem to see each other, so I don't know. But we'll move around to Tortellini, who's actually out, but his lights have turned off early. Let's give you an extra half an hour of light, Tortellini. Oh, that's not Tortellini's light. Let's see, where are you plugged in? You were up on this one. It's not 6 yet. Okay, give him an extra little bit of time. This is Tortellini. He is African Spur-Thighed tortoise, and he's grown quite a bit. He was just playing out in the grass, and if I have a second, I will cut one of those videos into this. But he's gonna grow big. He's gonna be as big as this tub someday, and gonna outlive me. But we won't linger on him too much. He's so damn cute, though. I can't not like look at him a lot. But yeah, he's in a 40-gallon tub. I think it's quite a bit more than 40 gallons, but I could be wrong. I picked this up at Fleet Farm for those who are looking for something. It's like a watering dish for horses or like cows or pigs or something. But I have it just on a little table where I used to keep my plants. That will get an upgrade. Maybe he'll actually get a little pen. I was thinking someday, I'll back up so you guys can see, he might make his own little tortoise island out here where he'll be the king of the, and you can walk 360 around him. Maybe plant it a little bit, but he's kind of the trampler. But we won't spend too much more time on him. We'll come up here to Circe, who is a ball python. Sorry, Circe. Turn the light on. Circe is our first ball python, and she is gigantic. She's just like chilling. She's just chilling. She's kind of mad. We went from feeding her weekly large rats to every other week because she was getting kind of hefty and we don't want her to get obese. But she is a pinstripe ball python, and she is not even a year old yet. So yeah, she's big. Very, very big. But she's very curious. She doesn't really care. She hangs out. Kind of like Khaleesi here, who is a bearded dragon. She's always looking for a bite. And just kind of hanging out today. Just sitting pretty. Aren't you? Aren't you? Look at that eye. Look at the eye. She's like, whoop, whoop, whoop. But that is Khaleesi there. She is a bearded dragon. She's also a red colored one. You see a lot of gray ones in pet stores. I'm very happy we got like a red one. But as you see how big she is, she's bigger than my hand, easy. She poops. Her poops are as like big as my fingers. So, and they're stinky because she eats a lot of bugs and vegetables, especially kale. But we'll jump down to our last newest addition, and he is, drum roll please, his name is Alfredo. I call him Elfie for short. He is a albino. There he is. He's sticking his head out. He's an albino ball python. He is a year and a half old, and he is about a quarter of the size of Circe. He's a little more fighty, but he has not bit us yet. He's hissed a bunch. Oh, is he gonna come out and say hello? Gonna come out and say hello to the audience? Yeah. He's a little fraidy cat. We're gonna get him a bigger hide. He barely fits in there. He's curious though. He thinks I'm feeding him. Something funny about ball pythons, everyone, is that they really like to eat a lot of food. They are very piggy, which is cool. I don't hate that. It's fun that they are always looking for snacks. They're more sociable. They actually come out and say hello. But that also means they get fat. They get fat. That's okay. She's a female. She needs to get some weight, especially if we're going to breed her in the next couple years. We want to make sure she's big and healthy and ready to breed with her potential mate there. Hopefully we'll have some albino. Oh, she jumped when I said that. Maybe albino pinstripes would be kind of cool, but we'll see what happens with the breeding there. We'll move our way around. This is the worm container from upstairs. This is kind of my compost bucket. They're actually probably not giant African night crawlers, because they're only like that long and they've been that long. So who knows? I don't know if I'll try that again, but because I was hoping to be able to feed Ziggy those and Mr. Pickles or whatever. All the lights turned off. What do you know? Must be getting late. Nighttime. Last tank here is the 20 gallon with 15 gallon sump, though more like 10 gallons of water in the sump. Look how little that water is. This is how much evaporation I have. I normally have it up here. That's in, I don't know, I fill it every couple days, so less than a week I'm refilling this tank. But the main display actually looks pretty nice. I do need to get in and clean the glass. There's just some dust on it. But beyond that, you can't even tell that there's water moving unless you look at the top. It's just so perfectly calm, and it's creepy alien with the black background paint. I don't know. I just really like the look of the tank. I don't like the look of the stand. So if anyone has a good idea that will actually fit a 20 gallon stand or 20 gallon tank with the tank the same size as the sump, even though it's, you know, a 15 gallon versus a 20 gallon tank, let me know. But I really like this tank. This is obviously not a aquatic light. This is just a standard bulb so you guys can see in it. Otherwise this always stays off and letting it cycle. I'm gonna add more water to that one, and obviously those other two tanks that are kind of evaporating so quickly. Well, most of them are. I'm gonna do some water changes here soon, but I wanted to show you guys the reptile room. There will be new lighting on the ceiling and new stuff, so ignore all that for right now. New window covers, all that stuff, and in the future. But I figured you guys, it's long enough overdue that you guys should see the reptile room in its new glory and get to see all the creatures not cramped in a tiny room. And I'll just stand back in the corner here to show you guys how big of a room it really is. Once, like, there's so much floor space, even though painting it black has allowed you to see every last little piece of dirt, which is good and bad. I don't mind if a frog gets out, I'll be able to actually see it hopping across the floor. But yeah, it's a pretty big room. It will be reformatted. Nothing set in stone in placement. But thank you guys. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Please comment if you have any cool ideas or anything at all. And I'll see you guys next time. I'm Drew. I'm that frog guy. And see ya.